Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius wrote that when we wake each day, we should appreciate the privilege of simply being alive, to breathe, think, enjoy life and love. How might we structure our mornings to align with this Stoic reverence for existence? Here we propose a morning ritual rooted in Stoic wisdom to set the tone for a peaceful, purposeful day. What if each morning could set the tone for a day filled with clarity, meaning, and inner tranquility? The ancient Stoic philosophers provided timeless wisdom for just that through practical principles for living virtuously. I'm excited to walk you through a thoughtful morning ritual grounded in Stoicism, taking just 30 minutes but transforming your entire day. Before we get started, we would be incredibly grateful if you would consider showing your support for spreading Stoic wisdom by liking this video and consider subscribing for more thoughtful Stoic content. Okay, here we go with number 1. Start the day with gratitude. Before rising, take a quiet moment to appreciate and give thanks for the gift of a new day. For instance, before he went to the gym this morning, John took some time to cultivate gratitude, as has become his daily ritual. After hitting snooze multiple times, John woke up feeling anxious about projects piling up at work. His mind was already rattling with deadlines and meetings scheduled for the long day ahead. But instead of giving in to stress, John used this as a cue to pause and reflect on what he's grateful for. At first, the blessings didn't come so easily to mind, but by looking around his bedroom, he was reminded of the comforts he does have: a warm blanket, pictures of loved ones, the safety of this space. John then turned his gratitude inward to parts of his life that truly fill him up: his creativity, resilience, and health. Feeling immersed in this spirit of gratitude, the pressing concerns of work seemed less heavy. John knew from practice that this state of thankfulness would sustain him even through stressful moments today. Having started his morning from a place of humility and compassion, he felt ready to manage challenges and even support colleagues who may also be struggling or irritable. The gratitude reset gave him renewed perspective. No matter the workload or obstacles ahead, he knew what matters most is who he chooses to be amidst it all. Stepping out the door with purpose and possibility, John set out for the gym with peace, patience, and grace. Now on to number 2, keep a morning journal. As Marcus Aurelius did, freely write your thoughts and insights to clarify your mind. John was having issues with his new supervisor at work, who was highly self-involved and impossible to please. As a student of Stoic philosophy, John decided to follow Marcus Aurelius's example of keeping a personal journal to process his frustrations and gain insight. Every morning before work, John woke up early to clear his mind by writing freely in his journal. He explored thoughts about dealing virtuously with his narcissistic boss, being just and understanding toward the man's character flaws, and finding empathy rather than indignation. John used his journal to remind himself that his true worth was in his own character and integrity, not his boss's criticism. By starting each day, setting positive intentions, being self-reflective, and planning his responses, John was able to stay calm and professional at the office. When facing unfair attacks in meetings, he took a pause to consider things from his boss's perspective. When he felt stressed walking to his boss's office, he focused on what was in his control. The regular practice of morning journaling gave John clarity and emotional resilience in navigating workplace challenges. By following Marcus Aurelius's wisdom and focusing inwards rather than outwards, John was able to uphold his Stoic virtues. His morning writings centered and strengthened him to exemplify justice, courage, moderation, and practical wisdom when dealing with his difficult narcissistic boss. Now on to number 3. Set your intentions. Rather than specific goals, set intentions rooted in Stoic virtues of wisdom, justice, courage, and temperance. Marcus started his morning by considering what virtues he wanted to embody that day. He knew that the ancient Stoic philosophers saw cultivating wisdom, justice, courage, and temperance as central to living a good life. Instead of making specific goals focused on external achievements, Marcus set intentions aligned with these ideals. He asked himself, how can I apply wisdom in my decisions today? Do I need courage to have an uncomfortable conversation or try something outside my comfort zone? How will I practice treating others justly regardless of petty annoyances? He contemplated what self-restraint and emotional control, temperance, would look like when stresses inevitable arose with his colleagues or in traffic jams. Even just a few moments of consciously orienting himself around Stoic virtues seemed to elevate Marcus's outlook and ground his forthcoming actions in meaning. He wrote in his journal, "Today I intend to speak my truth with compassion, question my assumptions, show exceptional patience with loved ones, and not let superficial worries shake me." By focusing first on who he aspired to be, Marcus felt prepared to flow through varied challenges with poise and purpose, true to his Stoic principles. Setting intentions brought much more confidence and calm than any specific goals could have. Now on to number 4. Embrace discomfort mindfully. Try a cold shower, brief meditation on a difficulty, or walking instead of driving. Build resilience. For instance, after hitting snooze twice, David forced himself out of bed on a cold Monday morning. As an experiment in discomfort, he stepped into a bracing cold shower, remembering the Stoic wisdom about voluntarily enduring small hardships to build mental toughness. The icy water was indeed uncomfortable, but David leaned into it, allowing the shock to fully awaken his senses. He thought about a difficult interaction at work last week that still bothered him, seeing if he could mindfully observe his residual frustration without getting wrapped up in the story around it. Feeling energized, David got out and dressed quickly in his gym clothes. Instead of driving, he decided to walk the 20 minutes to the gym, embracing the chill in the air. As David briskly walked down the streets, he contemplated how the physical challenge matched the emotional discomfort he anticipated facing my co-workers today to finish a major project. But he knew if he could stay grounded in Stoic principles of self-control and perspective, he would withstand the interpersonal challenges. By choosing to start his day stepping outside his comfort zone physically and mentally, David increased his confidence to handle stress without becoming reactive. The discomfort selected and confronted mindfully made the inevitable difficulties of work appear more manageable. He entered the gym focused and determined to have an intentional, constructive day aligned with his values. Now on to number 5. Focus the mind in meditation. Observe your breath and thoughts without judgment to anchor in the present. Still drowsy, Jonathan's mind was already spinning with pressing tasks at work later that day as he slowly awoke. His girlfriend Luna slept curled up next to him, occasionally stirring. Remembering the Stoic practice of mindfulness to reduce anxiety that he had been studying, Jonathan gently shifted his body to sit upright in their cozy bed. Closing his eyes, he turned his complete attention inward. Following his breath, Jonathan focused closely on each inhalation and exhalation without trying to control them. Whenever worries about meetings or judging thoughts about himself crept in, he simply noticed them and then continued observing the next breath arrive and depart. He envisioned thoughts as clouds moving across an open sky or leaves floating along a stream to reinforce detachment. As he immersed in this silent meditation, Jonathan felt himself centering deeply in the calm present moment, where pressures of the past and future don't exist. The technique aligned with Stoic teachings for responding skillfully to stressful thoughts through awareness of the here and now. Not only did this morning meditation relieve Jonathan's anxiety, it offered him a tool to tap into during times of tension with co-workers or clients later. By committing to just 5 minutes regrounding his restless mind in mindful stillness, Jonathan felt ready to fully engage the opportunities of this new day once he opened his eyes. No matter what demands or conflicts might arise, he knew he could take a mindful breath, just as the ancient Stoics taught, gently returning to equanimity. Now on to number 6. Immerse in Stoic wisdom. Select a short passage to reflect upon and apply through the day. While drinking his morning coffee, Ivan opened the copy of Marcus Aurelius's Meditations on his counter. He found great resonance with the guiding principles of Stoicism and enjoyed beginning his days reflecting on excerpts from these Stoic philosophers. Today, a short passage caught his attention. Never let the future disturb you. You will meet it if you have to, with the same weapons of reason which today arm you against the present. Ivan paused to consider the deeper meaning and how this related to events he had faced recently, where he felt unease about unknown outcomes. The quote was a timely reminder that the inner resources we cultivate now to respond to life's uncertainties are no different than what serves us in difficult moments when they arrive. Over the course of the day, as Ivan hit obstacles related to finances and faced concerns over a friend's well-being, he returned to this grounding idea from the Stoics. No matter what arose or might happen soon that he could not foresee or control, Ivan tapped into his capacity for clear reasoning, courage, justice, wisdom, tools available to him now and always through conscious practice. By regularly immersing in Stoic teachings and taking them off the page into the living of his days, Ivan felt a resilient peace and liberating control over his inner realm beyond conditions unfolding. Now on to number 7. Practice Amor Fati, or the art of loving your own fate. Lovingly accept all that arises today as essential to your growth and path. For example, John was an avid Stoic who often went on fishing trips to practice patience and self-control. When he awoke one morning to find it was raining heavily, he accepted the unpleasant weather with equanimity rather than frustration. As a Stoic, he viewed the rain as essential for nature and tried to Amor Fati, love his fate that day. John packed up his gear, impervious to the damp and cold. He saw the fishing trip as another opportunity to work on his Stoic virtues and emotional resilience. Out on the lake, he failed to catch anything all morning as the fish were hiding from the stormy skies. Soaked through but undaunted, John used the tranquility of fishing to contemplate life's difficulties with wisdom and grace. He focused less on tangible rewards like catching fish and more on aligning himself with nature's grand design. By loving what befell him that day without judgment or complaint, John grew in character and embodied the adaptability central to Stoic philosophy. Through challenges like bad weather and bare hooks, the fishing trip allowed him to practice acceptance and patience. John returned home that evening tired but gratified, eager to apply his learnings to future trials. Now on to number 8. Contemplate impermanence. We begin this Stoic morning routine by locating a quiet space to contemplate the ephemeral nature of everything. I wake up early before the bustle of the household and make my way to the back porch. Sitting on the worn wooden steps among the lush garden, I feel enveloped in stillness. As I settle into my meditation, I envision my body dissolving into the vastness of the universe, just one tiny particle among trillions. I picture the planets, stars, and galaxies sweeping through endless space and time, dwarfing my small human life. Then I imagine a big, strong man, over 6 feet tall with bulging muscles. In my mind's eye, I see him lifting incredible weights at the gym, grunting with the exertion. This man who seems so solid and permanent will also one day vanish without a trace. Even the towering mountains will eventually erode to dust. This visualization emphasizes how precious yet transient existence is. Our lives are no more than a fleeting spark against the canvas of infinity, but this moment is ours. So it motivates me to fully embrace the privilege of awakening to a new day, to breathe it in deeply and inhabit each interaction consciously. The inner shift that begins with recognizing life's impermanence ripples outward, informing how I flow through the hours to come. My actions become imbued with a palpable sense of presence, urgency, and purpose. Remembering that everything passes, as Stoic philosophy teaches, fills John with motivation to live meaningfully, productively, and morally before his time is gone. We hope you enjoyed learning about these Stoic principles for starting your mornings mindfully. How we start the morning often charts our course ahead. If you found merit in these practices, please subscribe and stay tuned for more content on applying Stoic wisdom to modern life. Thank you very much for watching. Until next time, here's wishing you tranquility and purpose on your Stoic path.